I am a huge fan of musicals. I mean, who doesn't like a good musical? They are capable of imbuing emotion into those that watch them, and can be deeply moving and affecting.
I know that you're out there and I'm waiting for you. Cornet is my name and I'm a puppeteer too. With my puppet friends there's nothing that we can't do. They are there to help me make my dreams come true. And once you get to know them, they just might help you too.
That being said, because games are also capable of doing this, then a game and a musical should make the perfect love child, a fusion of two passions. This is what Nippon Ichi Software attempted when they produced the first game of the Marl Kingdom series, Rhapsody, a musical adventure. Known in Japan as Maru Okoku no Ningyo Hime, Rhapsody, a musical adventure, was localized by Atlus USA for the Sony PlayStation console in the year 2000. The first of a series of games that mostly were only released in Japan, the game tells the story of a peasant girl that can communicate with puppets, who goes on an adventure to save the man she loves. Where the game is denoted as a musical is that instead of CGI or animated cutscenes, the characters will play out key scenes through song and dance, just like a stage musical.
It's our world, our love is everywhere. To the sky, our hearts will soar above.
In a game, is this an effective way of conveying the story? Does it hold the player's attention and impart the necessary information needed to understand the story? Let's find out. You play as Cornet, a puppeteer who can grant wishes when she plays her horn. She uses this ability to animate the puppets that she can innately communicate with. Cornet dreams of falling in love and finding her prince charming. As cliched as this sounds, the story does some things to subvert the stereotype that you would normally associate with such a desire. One day, when out collecting inodium for her grandfather, Cornet is attacked by a dragon after encountering the fabled Witch of the Wonder Woods. Before it can ingest her and satiate its appetite, a mysterious man swoops in and rescues her, before running off. Unfortunately, it's not Tuxedo Mask, but do not despair. It's the next best thing, Prince Ferdinand of Marl Kingdom. Despairing over how a commoner like her could again meet the gentleman who saved her life, Cornet decides to make him a delicious home-cooked meal. After procuring the ingredients and cooking up a delectable treat, she is at a loss as to how to deliver it. Luckily, her puppet companion Kururu has the solution to everything. From a path beneath the local cemetery, Cornet successfully finds her way into the men's bathroom in the prince's castle. Through the cistern. That's right, she enters through the lavatory. This is just one of many lewd, crude, and often below-the-belt moments of humour that this game exhibits. At first I thought that this was just the way the game had been localized. However, after playing some of the game's sequel, I know now without a doubt that the toilet humour was very much intended. For this reason, despite appearances, this game should definitely not be dismissed as a game for children. One of the standout things of the game for me was the relationship between Cornet and her puppet Kururu. Cornet has been with Kururu for as long as she can remember, and that puppet has a secret that eventually unfolds as the game transpires. Whilst the game has multiple narratives, such as impressing and rescuing the prince, the story of Cornet and Kururu connects you with the game on a level that the other narratives do not. Whilst Kururu often chastised or made fun of Cornet in the way that best friends would pay each other out, when the narrative develops to show her true nature, you can begin to understand a little more about why she is the way she is. Additionally, Cornet's rival Etoile brings some comic moments to the story with a peppering of seriousness, especially in her relationship with her rich and obnoxious father. During the course of the story, there are times where you as the player are asked to consider your actions. After events are put into place where Cornet has to rescue the prince, she is requested to locate and obtain 5 heart stones that will lift the spell placed upon him. These stones are easily located and obtained, however, sometimes the method of obtaining them is questionable. I felt like sometimes the ways in which I had Cornet acquire these stones would lead to the eventual demise of Marl Kingdom, as species were killed off and valuable trade goods decimated. I think this balanced out with the humour to give the game a moral, like a children's storybook that both younger and older players could relate to. Exploration of the world of Marl Kingdom is done by first selecting a destination on a world map, and then exploring the field location, be it a town or dungeon. While some of the locations are inspired and interesting, many of them are not. It's unfortunate that there is only a couple of dungeon types, and they are palette-swapped duplications of each other. Each dungeon consists of a maze of small rooms with exits in all 4 cardinal directions. If you are the type of person that gets lost trying to find your way out of a public bathroom stall, then this game is probably not for you. If you are not mapping the dungeon out mentally in your head, or physically on some paper, it's extremely easy to get lost and frustrated, especially in some of the bigger dungeons. This would definitely have had to have been the biggest complaint about the game of mine. On the flip side, however, many of the residents of Marl Kingdom will change what they say depending on the transpiring events of the game, which I thought added some depth to the world. I must applaud Atlus USA for making the dialogues of the villagers a little more interesting than basic filler text that some RPGs are guilty of. Some NPCs even evolve through the course of the game. One such is a man in Mothergreen, who wants to sell his house, and later, when you visit his house, a young married couple has moved in. I thought this was a nice touch, and made the world seem more alive, compared to a game where the characters all said the same thing, despite changing situations. I'm looking at you, unfortunately, Suikoden. As you navigate the world, in some locations you may encounter a random battle. These play out like a mini tactical RPG, in which you choose where to move your characters and then select an action. Cornet can take up to 3 puppets that she has recruited into battle with her, and they each have different skill sets, and some even have different attack ranges. At the beginning of the game you can select a difficulty for your playthrough. I chose hard, however I didn't die once, except for the times when you were forced to face defeat. This was a little disappointing, though I wonder if this was done because the developers wanted to put the musical numbers at the forefront of the game, and have everything else come after that. Generally battles lasted no more than a couple of turns, with the exception of a few boss battles, and group attack spells would usually one-hit KO smaller enemies. In battle, Cornet may blow her horn to increase the potential of her puppets. This also has the effect of populating a musical stanza with notes. For each time the stanza is filled, Cornet gains the ability to use a special skill from her reward menu. These come in the guise of huge area of effect attacks using sweets that are popular in Japan, like pancakes, shortcake, pudding, and so on. Cornet can also blow her horn out of battle in towns at music squares to busk for money, or for puppets that she finds in her adventures to have them join her entourage. I will note that thankfully her horn is the only thing that she blows. Cornet and her puppets gain experience at the end of battle. The puppets may level up and learn new abilities, or level up their skill level, which increases their critical hit percentage. If Cornet was the last person to attack a monster enemy before it died, there is a chance that it will request to join the party. Monsters all come with unique attacks of their own, however unlike puppets, if they die in battle within your own party, they are gone for good. Puppets who have died in battle can be taken back to Cornet's grandfather to be repaired for a fee. Despite my complaints about the dungeon designs, the presentation of the game is beautiful. The art style is a mix of pixel art with pre-drawn backgrounds. These combine wonderfully to present the aesthetic of Marl Kingdom. The characters each have unique animations outside of battle, which are especially predominant in the musical scenes, and add to the humour of the game. Battle animations, on the other hand, can sometimes be a little simple or outrageous, but despite this I think they are appropriate. Additionally, you can find official artwork in the form of illustrations in the various dungeons across Marl Kingdom. These can also be accessed from the menu before starting the game. Some of the concept and character art is very beautiful, so I'd really recommend checking them out. It would be remiss of me not to talk about the music of Rhapsody, a musical adventure, considering its namesake. Whilst the game is peppered with a number of moments where the characters will break into song and dance, I do want to first talk about the normal music tracks. Unfortunately, beside a few themes, none of the music was very memorable to me, compared to music from titles like Final Fantasy and Wild Arms, for example. The music was just not there. The musical numbers, on the other hand, were generally catchy, if lyrically corny, but perhaps that was intentional. The musical numbers appear at times in the narrative where exposition is required. I particularly like the numbers where the antagonists sang, and the backup dancers had one dancer that just didn't seem to know what the hell they were doing.
If you dare to get in my way, we'll make you pay. You won't live another day. Queenie, just show your beauty. You're the baddest queen under the sun. Keep on shining, we'll keep on whining. She's our queen, she's the baddest to be seen.
Some of the musicals maintained the humour of the game, where others were more heartfelt and touching and brought a tear to the eye. It may be because I am familiar with losing a mother, so that may have bit a little deeper than how other people, like yourselves, might experience that particular moment in the game. Overall, is Rhapsody a musical adventure worth playing? I'd say yes. It's only a very short game, with my playthrough clocking in at around 8 hours. It was well worth the time I invested in it to explore the world of Marl Kingdom and save Cornet's prince from a magically inept aged witch with a little too much boob jiggling.
Okay, everybody, all together.
The musical numbers were all catchy and appropriate for the parts of the game that they appeared in, and they gave me the feeling of warmth I always get when I watch a stage musical in person. If you have the opportunity to pick up the game, I would definitely recommend it, for who knows, maybe one day you'll find the prince that you've always been dreaming of. By the way, I would be keen to know what your favourite musical is. Please let me know in the comments. I am always on the hunt for new and interesting musicals to watch. As always, thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope to see you again with more in the near future.
Thank you, my love. I thank you from my heart. You filled my life with melody and song. You are the one I tell my story to. It's just begun.